Hello there, amazing person. Today we're going to talk about hysterectomies, my hysterectomy to be precise. I didn't want to make this video before I had an operation date because I've been in a lot of discomfort, and making a video about it and then having to wait for an operation date would be too much for me to deal with. So I just got my operation date and we're good to go. So I'm sharing my story with the hopes that all of the things that are going around in my life right now are going to end with the operation. So first of all, I have a bicornuate uterus, which simply means that I have a double uterus. I don't have one uterus, I actually have two uteruses. And I didn't know this. A lot of females don't know that they have one until they try to get pregnant, because females with a bicornuate uterus usually have trouble to have a full-term pregnancy because your uterus, both of them, are somewhat smaller and it can't stretch out as much as a normal uterus. So that's exactly what happened in my case. I got pregnant, everything was just perfect, but he did not have room to grow. So he was born premature and he couldn't move at all since, I'm guessing, the 5th month or something. I didn't feel a thing moving. So you're scared constantly. And when he was born premature, as I said, we immediately saw that his legs were folded in one position. So he had to go into a cast for a full year to stretch out his legs into a normal position, which was hard for him and hard, obviously, for me to see your kid going through something like that because of the way your organs are developed. So it was in 1999. It was a long time ago. They didn't do a lot of, tests on you when you were pregnant. It was just, okay, you're pregnant, you're getting one picture. They measure your stomach once a week or something. But the second time when I was trying to get pregnant, they did a lot of tests on me, and Lord behold, they saw that I had a bicornuate uterus. They also saw that I had a prolapse and that I had fibroids. And all of these things made a lot of sense because I was in so much discomfort for so long. And when they told me all of these things, everything just fell into place. Everything just made sense in my life. So now I'm gonna talk about all of the symptoms that I had. You may or may not have one or more of these symptoms. Maybe your symptoms are more severe, maybe they're less severe, maybe you have even more symptoms than I have, but this is what is happening in my life. I didn't know a lot of things. I just assumed that I was a lucky person just having a period of, let's say, 2 days, a severe period of 2 days, and then I just bled for 1 more week, but minimum. What I've learned now is that the minimum bleeding that I have for a full week is normal. The heavy period that I have the first 2 days is very abnormal. It just goes on and on up to a point that I can hardly do anything. I basically cannot lift my legs normally. You basically lose too much blood, you get anemic, and with the tiredness, I also get headaches, and that's every month for about a week. Then I have 1 week of kind of nothing, and then I start feeling cramps in my stomach and pain. I think that is when I'm releasing an egg or more. I don't know, because I have 2 uteruses. I have a double uterus, so I don't know if I'm releasing 1 egg or more, but the cramps when I'm releasing an egg is just intense. It feels like there's a heavy stone in my stomach. It really hurts, and I cannot understand how you are supposed to be fertile, the best period of the month to conceive, but you're in that much pain at that moment. I mean, who would want to, try and make a baby at that moment when you're in that much pain? But that is my life right now. And then after those sometimes 2 days of pain like that, I start getting PMS symptoms, which means that I eat everything for 2 weeks. I get so hungry. Well, not really hungry. I crave food constantly. I bloat immensely. I really bloat a lot for 2 weeks. And I start getting back pain. I start getting a pain in my leg, my lower leg. Everything just hurts. And then I get my period. I made a picture of what my uterus looked like before I had my prolapse. So this is basically my body. This was my body. You have ligaments. Ligaments are like ropes that your uterus uses to stay in place. And apart from the ligaments, the elastic ropes, you also have a lot of tissue that holds everything together. So nothing is moving. Everything is just secure in one place. And then you have your bladder and you have your rectum. This is your tailbone. This is a bone, and this is your pubic bone. This is also a bone. So everything is really secure. It doesn't really look like this, but I'm just trying to paint you a picture of what it looks like. This is your navel, this is your back, your bottom, and this is your pelvic floor. This is kind of a hammock in which everything is situated. You have one hole here for your poop, one hole for the blood to come out, and one hole to urinate out of. So 3 holes in your pelvic floor. And this pelvic floor is extremely important because when you have a prolapse, you kind of lose these ropes that hold everything up. You kind of lose this stability, and your pelvic floor is being pressed on. So these are the things that really caused me to tell the doctor I really need a solution. I really need to do something to get rid of all of these problems. And the solution that they gave me, the first solution that they gave me was to just take painkillers. What am I saying? Well, I have IBS, so everything that I put inside of my body stays in my digestive system for way too long. It has too much effect on me. So I can take medication when things get really bad, but I have to know that it's just for a short period of time. And they were basically telling me, you're going through menopause. When you're done with your periods, when you're in menopause, your thyroids will shrink, and then you will no longer need medication. But the time from now until when I get into my menopause, it's inconclusive. It could take 10 years from now. So I'm not taking medicine for 10 years. Same thing goes for hormones. I can take hormones to regulate my periods, to basically just stop my periods. But that would only mean that I will no longer have periods. I would still have a prolapse, and I would still have to go to the toilet constantly to pee. I would still feel the pressure and the back pain. The back pain is the worst. It's like a hernia, a double hernia. It presses on my lower back when I stand, and when I lay down, when I try to sleep, it also presses on my lower back. When I lay on my side, my whole leg up to my knee just hurts. And that was something that was going to stay with me even if I took hormones. Then there was a cuff that they could put on your uterus. They basically put a ring here to pull everything up. I have a bicornuate uterus. There are two of the uteruses. The cuff wouldn't stay in the right position. So this is the normal picture of what my uterus used to look like, the double uterus, and the position of the uterus with the ligaments that's holding it together, the bones, the tissue that's holding everything together. And this is what my uterus looks like now. So my uterus is way bigger right now. There's no room for my bladder, and the ligaments have stretched out immensely, and my uterus is very close to my pelvic floor instead of way up there. So I suggested, why not give me a hysterectomy? That would take care of the prolapse, it would take care of my periods, and it would quite possibly take care of all of my pain. It's a win-win situation. They're like, yeah, but it's very permanent. Are you sure you want to go that route? Yeah, I want to go that route. So they put me in contact with a hospital, and I talked to my doctor. My doctor was great. He took one look at me. He opened me up and he said, oh, you want to be scheduled. And then he felt up to where my uterus was, and he raised his eyebrow. He didn't say a thing, but his face was like, you're getting a hysterectomy. So I'm scheduled, and I'm getting a total hysterectomy. I think it's called a total hysterectomy, but I'm not really sure. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the medical terms, but I think it's called a total hysterectomy. And they're basically going to cut the ligaments off. They are going to cut all of the tissue surrounding it, and then they're going to leave the ovaries if possible, but they're going to take out the fallopian tubes, which have cysts on them. They're going to take the uterus, both of them, with all of the thyroids in them, and they're going to take the cervix. The cervix is the top part of your vag, and of course they're going to leave my vag because I need it. Yeah, and that's the plan. My doctor said he's going to try to do it with just a couple of tiny holes, and they're going to put some pipes through those holes, and in those pipes they're going to put a micro camera, micro scissors, micro needle and threads, and a burner for the blood vessels. And through all of those holes they're going to operate with robot arms. So it's a robotic hysterectomy. But, and this is what a lot of people don't tell you, there is a possibility to pull out the uterus through those holes, but only if your uterus is completely destroyed or normal size. They're not sure if they can do that with my uterus. So either they're going to cut me open to get the whole uterus out, or they're going to take it out via my vag. And I think they're going for the second option, because why would they go with the robotic arms inside of you to in the end just cut you open to take it out? So I think I'm getting a vaginal total hysterectomy, which means that I'm basically giving birth to my uterus. There's another thing that they don't tell you. I took the liberty to make you this, to try and show you what it looks like, the operation. So this is your uterus. It's filled with thyroids right now, and this is your vag, and this is your cervix. So what they're doing, your uterus is not connected to the rest of your stomach. Your colon, your bladder, everything is around it, but it doesn't touch the inside of your uterus. If you go through your uterus, through your vag, you can reach your uterus if you go deep enough. That's why they can examine your uterus just by going through your vag. If they take out the uterus, it would mean that you have this large hole going into your stomach, because your uterus is covering this, and now you have this large hole in your stomach, which means that your vag is directly an opening to your colon, your bladder. Everything can just come out through your vag, which is absolutely not ideal. Just the infections that you can get, that's just not done. So they're making a cuff, which basically means that they're sewing the top part of your vag. They're going to take the cervix too, so up to here. They're going to just sew it closed, and this will be my new normal. And that is basically the operation that I'm getting. Some females recover in a matter of weeks. Some females recover in a matter of months. Because of the size of my uterus and the fact that I have not been able to exercise or do anything basically for months, I will probably just take a couple of months to try and feel better and heal. And after that, I can worry about, losing all of the excess weight. I'm really not sure right now how much it will be, but at this point, I have gained about 25 kilos, which is massive because I'm not tall. I'm 5'4", and carrying all of that with me really causes extra stress on my back, which causes extra back pain, and it's just a cycle that goes on and on and on, a negative cycle, or spiraling down. And hopefully after my operation, everything will just spiral up. So I really hope that this video helps you to understand that you have options. I mean, it's a huge operation and it's extremely permanent. Once you get your uterus out, you can no longer have kids, but it will also improve your quality of life. So you really have to weigh everything. When it comes to a hysterectomy, there are also a lot of risks. Your pelvic floor is a lot weaker. After a hysterectomy, you have to really train your pelvic floor, because the ligaments that hold everything up, your bladder and your rectum, they cut those ropes and they cut a lot of tissue to take the uterus out. So there is a bigger chance of getting a prolapse of your bladder or your rectum, and that will weigh on your pelvic floor. So you really have to train your pelvic floor after you get your hysterectomy. You should always train your pelvic floor. Every woman should. But after a hysterectomy, it's extra important to just get that extra support that you need. And my ligaments were already stretched out because of the prolapse. But what you basically get is that your stomach gets kind of shorter. I don't know how to explain it, but everything is lower, which means that you will get a little pouch. And if you don't have a prolapse, you don't have that problem yet. But once they cut the ligaments, you may get that pouch, unless your stomach muscles are really well trained. That will keep everything in. So it's important to work out after your hysterectomy, and it's important to also work out for your pelvic floor. So your stomach and your pelvic floor should get extra exercise after your hysterectomy, because otherwise you'll end up with a pouch and a possible prolapse of your bladder or your rectum. So take that into consideration. It's not a quick fix. You're going to have to recover, and you're going to have to keep up your exercise. And another thing that a lot of people don't tell you when you get a hysterectomy is that you don't go into menopause immediately. You still have your hormones. Your hormones are still going to signal the normal things like your PMSing, or those things. It will keep happening. It may decline very fast. For now, I'm counting on still getting PMS up to a certain degree, and I'm still going to get kind of weird mixed signals from my body, like something you should also take into consideration. But there are a lot of pros, for me at least. When I have my hysterectomy, after that I will no longer have a period, not ever again. I will no longer have my prolapse, which is going to hopefully take all of the back pain away and increase my quality of life immensely. I will be able to work out after I get just clearance of the doctor after I heal, and I would just be able to go on a normal vacation without having a lot of pain and troubles, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. It's worth the risks and the pain for me. Just go out there and find more information before you make a decision. And if you're worried about just pain, too much pain, too long of periods, dizziness, and all of those things, I would really advise you go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. You may not need to walk around with all of these problems. So with that being said, I will see you in the next video. Next video will be probably going to the hospital, packing my hospital bag, going to the hospital, getting it done, and my first week of recovery, if I have the energy to film anything. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.